Hello, my name's Anthony.
I'm Fabio,
I'm Alex.
and we have a simple question for you.
Why code Python when we can code JavaScript?
Let's get down to business, boys and girls. There's one question on everyone's mind. How do I get started with JavaScript? Great question. We're going to tell you. JavaScript is a scripting language that is written into HTML pages and uses internet browsers to execute its code. Since the programming language is essentially built into all major internet browsers, there is no third-party software required. A programmer can use any plain text editor. I'm pointing my glasses at you. That means this is important. Any plain text editor, such as Notepad, to write their code. And remember, always practice safe coding and color code what you write.
Hey guys! Now we'd like to give you a couple of syntax examples that we think are going to help you as you embark upon your JavaScript journey. So first we're going to go through how you assign variables. It's very simple, much like we do in Python. However, there is this keyword var, V-A-R, that you put before your variable name. Here we're assigning your first name, Karen. Hey Karen. To first. Here we're assigning your last name to a variable called last. And then we're concatenating them for a full name. Much like we would in Python. However, do remember there is this keyword var that you must put before your variable name. You must also put these semicolons at the end of your lines, because that is a part of JavaScript syntax that is different as well. And here you have your output, very similar to what we would have in Python.
Okay, so let's go through a second example, coding in JavaScript, and we're going to be using while loops and also look at some other very useful syntax for the JavaScript language. So starting off, we see that we are defining a variable x equals 0, and you can see that we are using this var syntax from the previous example. So once we have our variable set, we're going to go into the while loop of x less than 5. You can see immediately that there's a lot of similarities in how a while loop for Python looks compared to a while loop for JavaScript. Major difference though is these curly brackets you see here and here. Basically what this allows JavaScript to do is to distinguish the header from the block and also tell JavaScript that you are dealing with an object or trying to define an object. So going further in, we are using a syntax called console.log. This is a very useful tool because it lets JavaScript write output directly to the console of the browser you're in. This makes it a very useful tool to use while you're debugging your code. So we're going to be using console.log x to reference the variable we're working with here. So for every iteration of this while loop, we're going to be writing whatever the value of x is directly to the console. So x equals 0, so 0 will be written to the console. The next line of code is this x++ here. It's a lot like using a count plus equals 1 or something like that in Python. So what it does is for every iteration of this while loop, it's going to take x and increase it by an increment of just 1. So going through our entire code, we have x equals 0, which is less than 5, so we enter into the while loop. We console.log x, which means we're writing 0 to the console, and then we're increasing x from 0 to 1. The only other stuff to really keep in mind is keeping these semicolons in check, since it's JavaScript and that's very important, and to also make sure that you are always keeping your curly brackets closed and equal in number.
Hello everyone, it's me again, Dr. Ever. I want to talk to you today about something very important in JavaScript. When we are using JavaScript, it is advised that you use 3 equal signs when comparing items to determine whether or not they are the same. You see, if we use 2 equal signs, it thinks that 1, the string, is equal to 1, the number, and it will return the value of true, but we know that's not correct. Therefore, if we put 3, it evaluates 1 and 1, and will return that as false because it knows that 1 is a number and 1 is string. Hello, senors and senoritas. It is me. The great mass wrestler known as Nacho Libre. You probably see me on television wrestling the greats like Ramses, and those two little guys that are furry and try to buy my hair out in my movie. But today I'm gonna talk to you about something more important, and that is the code called JavaScript. I want to share with you a super fun fact about JavaScript. Did you know before it was called JavaScript, it was called, not the cappuccino, frappuccino, no, it was called mocha. Pero ultimately, they ended up calling it JavaScript because they like that name better. And now, it's the best.
I literally can't.
I'm not even kidding. I was in Starbucks yesterday and JavaScript was on the menu.
Wow.
Tall or grande.
Venti.
White chocolate or venti. You can get it any kind of way you want it. Bro, how many times do I have to tell you it's not Python, it's Cobra. It says it all over Google.
Are going to be very important for you as you bark.
What are you doing?
Oh my god. We have to go somewhere else.